Hello and welcome. In this one, we'll speak a bit about Mars planet in your chart, which is retrograde in your natal chart and in your Navamsha chart as well. Because natal signifies the tree and Navamsha signifies the fruit of what it's going to yield later on in life, post 36 years of age, right? That's the principle. So we will study about Mars retrograde with two powerful women's chart, natal and Navamsha, in the case study in this video. First of all, just to recap, what is a retrograde planet? Remember, Sun and Moon can never be retrograde. As a principle of astrology, and Rahu and Ketu, the north and the south node of the Moon, are always retrograde. So wherever they associate with, even with Sun and Moon, they'll try to push them back. That's why they are inimical to Sun and Moon. Okay, so retrograde as a principle in astrology signifies the overdrive of a planet and its energies. So you're trying to compensate. The soul is trying to overcompensate the signification of that planet. Which planets can go retrograde? Well, all of the rest of them, right? Right from Mercury to Venus to Mars to Jupiter and Saturn. All of these planets can go retrograde. Except Sun and Moon and Rahu and Ketu, everything can go retrograde. So we're covering that also in our retrograde playlist. Mars retrograde signifies overindulgence in the house matters. Means wherever Mars is placed, if it's first house, the person will be overindulgent in general in all areas of life. If it is third house, it is in the matters of skill. If it's second house, it will show it towards the family and so on. So excessive action and drive, because Mars is action and Mars is drive to accomplish something. Mars is an action-oriented planet. It doesn't like to sit around Mars. Excessive care of body and health. Why do I say that? Mars is the significator of the ascendant, the body. So it rules just about everything, excessively taking care of body, going to gym, going to yoga, going to this and that. Mars retrograde can also do that. Third point, Mars retrograde has effects in the house it sits in, as well as third place from its position. Of course, Mars has the seventh aspect, the fourth aspect, and the eighth aspect as well, but we are not covering that here. We are just looking at one fundamental signification of Mars as a retrograde planet, which has effects in the house in which it sits, as well as third place from its position, counting Mars as the first place and then counting 3, right? Mars plus 1 plus 2, like that, the third place. Okay, let's take the case study now of a politician in Tamil Nadu state in India who's no more with us, Jayalalitha. One as a case study. Let's analyze her natal chart and the nakshatra and the Navamsha of Jayalalitha. So this one is Jayalalitha's natal chart, in which Mars retrograde was placed in Magha nakshatra in the third position. She's a Gemini ascendant, was a Gemini ascendant in Punarvasu nakshatra. If you remember the significations of Punarvasu nakshatra, the basic theme was winning second time. So she failed a lot of times as a politician, but she kept reinventing herself and then succeeded eventually to become one of the most popular leaders of that state in India. She was the chief minister for many years. So that's the basic theme of Punarvasu itself, right? Now Mars is placed retrograde in the third house. First of all, the third house Mars is strong. And in Leo, because her ascendant is Gemini, number 3, number 4, number 5, right? There. Didn't have space for anything else, so I stuck it there. Mars retrograde was there. What did it provide her? Mars third house retrograde in natal. Intense mental energy. With Mars retrograde in the third house, mental energy is intense, focus on skills, keen intellect, wanting to overcompensate. So there will be an overdrive to refine skills. This lady was first an actor in Tamil cinema. And she was a good one at that. First, to refine the skills in her acting, perhaps. Obsessive thoughts in communication. Mars can lead to obsessive thoughts of communication patterns in the third house. Become fixated on certain ideas, making it challenging to let go of mental preoccupation. Third house is the house of skills, right? So first it amplifies the overdrive of Mars in that house, if its Mars is retrograde. Might engage in debates and arguments with great passion. Communication style can be assertive, aggressive, confrontational. All of these qualities, if you look at them, make for a very good politician. She was a great debater, even in the local parliament of hers, in her state. Personal style and looks. Intense focus on personal style. Remember, Mars is a significator of physical appearance, like I said. Appearance, well-groomed. She's always meticulous about her clothing, hairstyle. After all, she was an actor, and a very popular one, before she became a politician. May engage in rigorous fitness routines, dietary practices to maintain a desirable physical appearance. This was when she was having her career as an actor. Active lifestyle. Natural active inclination for sports, physical activities, third house. Hands-on skills with the body, Mars. I'm not sure whether she was into sports or not. This indicates that. Of course, it's in Magha Nakshatra, so she will look for leadership. Leo, sign of Leo. Mars is exalted in the sign of Leo, but Mars itself is retrograde. I'm just running through the commentary here. Aggressive approach to younger relationships and peers. Third house is the house of peers and also for younger siblings. So that may be also happening with her. Not sure. Now, third place from Mars, starting from Mars 1, 2, 3, would be the fifth house in her chart. So it looks at this fifth house, and Mars retrograde kind of brings that aspect over here. Intense creativity. She was an actor in the beginning years of her career. Creative expression is marked by intense passion, drive, approach to artistic endeavors. Guess what? She was an actor. Self-expression with strong sense of determination and enthusiasm for hobbies, leisurely activities, great vigor and determination and competitive spirit. All of these are needed for a successful actor. Assertive self-expression. This came into even her political life. Assertive in communicating thoughts and feelings. Mars is an assertive planet, and if it's retrograde, more so. Just check your chart. Can be powerful tool in self-expression, artistic pursuits. Intense romantic passion. Fifth house is the house of romance. I'm not sure how many affairs she had or whom she had love life with, but approach to romantic relationships is marked with passion and intensity. Mars is over-amplified. The soul is trying to compensate for the energy of Mars. Look at it that way. That will simplify the whole approach to understanding this. Of course, you got to take the ascendant nakshatra, Mars nakshatra, themes if you want to go that direction. And if you want to take the cusp of the ascendant and how it's playing out in the third house as well as the fifth house. Those will be going into details. But let's now get into another lady called Aline Durek. She was the first woman naval officer decorated in US long ago. Not about Second World War, I think. Let's get into her chart and see how Mars retrograde played out for her. She was also a powerful woman. Okay, before that, I just missed this point. Navamsha of Jayalalitha had Mars in the first house itself, in Aries. Mars is in his own sign. Ascendant was Ashwini, very fast-moving nakshatra. So the Navamsha first house, how did Mars retrograde play out for her? With Mars retrograde in the first house, she had an intense personal energy, drive, aggression, post 36 years of age. Probably that's when she shifted to politics, not sure. Meticulous personal style and appearance. Everything is focused on personal style, appearance, competitive spirit would be the driving force. She was highly competitive. And because of the Punarvasu Nakshatra, she failed a number of times first time and succeeded second time. She did not succeed first time. All the other politicians made fun of her, but she came back with far more aggression and she succeeded. Competitive spirit. Strong leadership quality. She was a natural leader. Challenges in managing anger. Mars in the first house inherently makes a person very aggressive. Okay? For anyone, forward or Mars going reverse. Reverse, it's even more. It might be a challenge for her to manage her anger, maybe lashing out a lot. Mars retrograde effect will be in the third place from itself, in this case on the third house itself. Remember, ascendant started from the third house, but Navamsha, the same Mars retrograde, went into the first house. So now its effect on the third house. Very effective communication, expression of thoughts, ideas with confidence, bordering on aggressiveness. Of course, politicians require this, especially in India, I guess, or anywhere really. Leadership in local communities. See, this is what drove her perhaps to become a politician, because Mars is very strong in Aries. It's its own house. So leadership in local communities, neighborhood associations, organizations focused on communication and clarity, passionate and assertive nature has made this lady a formidable debater. She spoke very aggressively in the parliament. Passionate intellectual pursuits. Now I'm not too sure about this. I haven't investigated. It could be there. Competitive with younger siblings and peers. Again, third house, younger siblings. Second house, elder siblings. Yes. Frequent short journeys, and all the aspects of Mars are amplified. She took a lot of short journeys in her political career, at least, because she had to go campaigning all the time, right? So that's Jayalalitha's Navamsha. Now let's get into Aline Durek. That's the natal chart of Aline Durek. She was the decorated naval officer, the first rare admiral woman in US. So basically this lady was a nurse first, and then she was promoted to the rank of Rear Admiral, which is the top rank in naval service. Sagittarius ascendant in Purva Ashada, and her Mars in her natal chart was retrograde in the 11th house, all about community. And third position from that natal Mars was the ascendant itself, so it affected her directly. Whatever she did for the community with drive and passion, she brought it to the first house. Mars in Swati, very individualistic, very original thinker type of lady. Mars 11th in the natal, intense desire for social engagement. She took care of wounded soldiers in the army, in the services, in the navy. She possesses a strong desire for social engagement and involvement. Passion for ideals. She might have been a very passionate lady about her ideals and beliefs. Being in the service, it becomes very patriotic in nature. Yes. Displaying competitiveness within group settings. Now, I don't know this for certain, but it certainly indicates that. Passion for social causes. First, this lady was a nurse. She took care of wounded soldiers. So that's a social cause in itself. Deeply passionate about social causes of her times, whatever times they live in. Remember, astrology also always has to be sort of understood in the context of your society, your culture, the times we live in. It has to be current. We cannot take archaic stories and bring it down to current date. That will be ridiculous. Deeply passionate about social causes. She may have actively participated in movements, groups, organizations to make a positive impact on society. 11th house is Aquarius. But this is like Mars in Aquarius, yes? Although it is in the sign of Libra, so it is all about others very strongly. And she would have displayed this as a concern for society. Leadership in social circles. She may have been assertive and passionate from birth, right up till she was 36, natal, right? Now, the effect of this retrograde Mars is third position comes to the ascendant, which is in Purvashada Nakshatra. Meticulous attention to personal style. She may have been one of the spick and span nurses in the services, in the naval services. She might have paid a lot of attention to her style, always neat and clean and dressed well. All forces are, really. People working in the defense forces are usually very well dressed. Excessive care for body and health, maybe this is what was the inclination for getting into health line. After all, she was a nurse in the beginning. Fitness routines, dietary practices, maintaining physical appearance and health, because first house is the body. Mars retrograde looks at it and becomes very, very cautious and very careful and very observant about their own physical appearance and health issues. Okay. Assertive, energetic personality. She may have been very assertive as a child, and she also exhibited some leadership qualities which later help her define that she became the rear admiral. Now, what is Purvashada? We always go to the ascendant nakshatra. Emotional enthusiasm is needed to build teams for victory. Maybe this is the reason why she was promoted to the rank of a rear admiral. Now, let's see her Navamsha. Her Navamsha ascendant is in Leo, leader, natural, in Purva Falguni. But the Mars went to the 7th house. Now, Mars in 7th house typically doesn't do very well because you'll start showing aggression towards your partners, be very passionate, highly sexual in nature, because Mars retrograde will provide that. But third place looks at the 9th house. And the nakshatra in which Mars is sitting is very interesting, Shatabhisha, which is 100 physicians. No wonder she was a nurse, nursing a lot of people, wounded soldiers. Mars in 7th Navamsha, assertive in social settings, natural leader in social gatherings. See, it's less at 7th house, house of Libra, and the sign of Aquarius once again. So it's all about the community for her. She spent her life in community. She didn't even get married once because her whole drive of this Mars was about community. She had no other distractions. Competitive spirit in relationships. She didn't have any relationships because she knew this would not work. She's all about community. 7th house is Libra and there is a sign of Aquarius. You can't get any more about community than that. Right? And the third place from that, 7th to 9th house in Navamsha, is in Aries. Once again, Mars is very good there in Aries. Passionate pursuit of knowledge. She studied a lot of books in her lifetime. Approach to learning with enthusiasm and vigor. Why? Because it's the 9th house, house of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, seeking knowledge, intellectual pursuits. Passionate quest for meaning and purpose. We don't know this. This lady is passed away a long time ago, but must have been the case. If you know something about Alan Turing, can leave it in the comment box. Competitive spirit in learning. You may learn about, possess a competitive spirit. Mars is competition by default, yes. It rules the first house and it also takes care of the third house. Mars does well in the third house, although Gemini rules the third house, Mars 1st and 8th, but it does very well in the 3rd and 6th as well. But if it looks at the 9th, it will start focusing on learning, right? So this must have been what dictated the life of Alan Turing. And we have just taken one planet, remember. We have not considered other planets or other aspects or any such thing. Just wanted to give you a sample of how to read the Mars retrograde if you have one in your chart. Because the same retrograde planet will go into Navamsha also as retrograde. Remember that. A retro in planet in natal will go retro in all the other divisional charts. And you have to measure the third place from where it is sitting because that retro will be focused in that area. Okay. We shall deal with another one in the next. Meanwhile, take care, be safe.